What's with the dried peppers?
Where is that? Oh, no, that's those are cockroaches. Plastic roaches, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was
like props. All right, with Alex Bienstock, the artist who just had a gallery show in Bed-Stuy, where he sold most of his possessions.
Not a lot of my possessions, but the possessions that I don't need right now. There's more that I still want to get rid of.
Oh yeah. Why didn't you bring him to the show?
They were just the ones that I knew that they could sell quickly.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And cheaply. There's still certain bigger things that I need to get rid of that I don't want to just throw away.
Gotcha. Like what?
Just like furniture.
What furniture do you have?
Just like cabinetry, tables, chairs.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get rid of as many things as possible. I want to live like really minimalist, and I don't want to have a lot of belongings.
Right.
So I can maybe move around in the future, and just kind of like the one thing is I need to get rid of my bed.
You're gonna get rid of your bed?
At one point, because it's like a king size bed.
That is huge.
And
Yeah.
it's like it's too hard to move all the time, and it gets expensive. I don't know. It was like kind of like an art show, but it was also more just a practical way to get rid of things.
Yeah.
But I definitely like made decent money, and more people bought stuff because it was a physical location.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how many people came and bought stuff, you think?
Probably like less than 10.
Oh, yeah?
It wasn't super busy, and I didn't promote it that well, but it was enough people where enough stuff was sold, and it kind of turned into like a fun little photo shoot, little happening, little get together.
Yeah.
People kind of had a lot of fun. It felt like people had fun.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
I think people enjoy talking to you about like niche art shit that I don't know anything about. But.
What made you come?
I just had my car and I was like in the neighborhood and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to see like what you got. And I'm glad I got that UFO book and the pin.
Yeah.
I feel like I got a good deal, like $11 for both of those.
Yeah.
Which I probably would never buy online.
Yeah.
You know?
It was kind of like the whole experience of like going up the stairs, going to Izzy's apartment. It was like a good way to have an art show that was really easy and kind of nonchalant and easygoing, and it's kind of exactly what I'm interested in, like almost this like post-art idea of it blurring a line of like practical and aesthetic.
But you wouldn't call it like a performance art piece?
It could be, but I wouldn't really call it anything other than a solo show.
Okay.
Like, did it seem like art to you?
Kind of in a way. Yeah, if you like, I mean, I feel like with performance art, you can just put it in like that terms.
Yeah.
Those terms, then it would become performance art, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I put it in my CV, and anytime you put like something in your CV, then you're contextualizing it as a work. But, you know, in the morning before I went, I was like, is this going to be worth it? Is this stupid? I brought everything in like a cart, so I didn't spend money getting there.
Okay.
Because that would have been stupid.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like a performance from like pulling the cart to getting it there to coming back home. The whole thing felt like just like a big endurance test.
Right.
And it was meaningful. It was much better than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a waste of time. I thought no one would come, and I thought nothing would sell. But I ended up leaving with like close to $200.
That's pretty good.
You know, and some people have solo shows and don't sell anything.
Right, yeah.
You know, and it's a funny way to just make work without really doing anything, except like the show itself.
Right, yeah.
It was probably a show that I did that was the most kind of like non-art.
Right, yeah.
Where there was nothing made except the show itself. And I want to do more of that possibly. You know.
But you don't think that would work with like your furniture and stuff?
With what?
Your furniture and stuff like that.
I think that's going to be the last of its type that I do. I think with the furniture I'll probably just get rid of because I don't I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, you can put it on Facebook maybe.
Maybe on Facebook.
Do you have a Facebook?
No, but you can still probably put it on certain forums on Facebook without like having an account. My Facebook got banned from my last Instagram account because it was connected.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
did Dylan buy his whole pile?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
And there was some good conversation.
Yeah.
It felt fruitful. And I've done shows where there was like tons of people, and I've done shows where there was like 5 people. It doesn't really make a difference to me. I'm very much like me against the world kind of artist. Like, I don't really need things to be like a big deal. But it actually got a lot more attention than I thought it would online. And it's just like a bunch of stuff on like Izzy's ground. But like, people really liked it. I was very surprised. Like, why do you think that, like, why, is it interesting aesthetically? Does it, like, look interesting?
I think, well, it's, like, cool because you can, like, explain all the context of all the pieces, you know, and sort of, like, why they're important or, like, interesting. And then you get to look at them, and you're like, I feel like I got to look at, like, a lot of art books that I probably never would have heard of.
That's true. So it's almost, like, participatory.
Yeah, it's almost like a lecture also, you know.
Right.
Not that you were lecturing, but, like, it's a back and forth I was listening between you and other people that were like more into that type of art.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, because most of the books were kind of like conceptual art or like philosophy, very niche, like what you said.
Or books from your friends.
Or books from my friends. And it was kind of good to get rid of them because I'm not really a collector anymore. I'm really trying to do this thing where I have like almost nothing.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Are you, what, like those, did any of those objects like ever mean a lot to you?
Maybe at certain points in my life, but I'm trying to get to a point where no object means that much to me. The hardest may be like family photos and like memories, but I'm just gonna scan those all anyway, and I did scan all those, and everything is just gonna stay digital. And like, I'm trying to get rid of the notion of like material sentimental value. Like, I don't need to hold on to anything, and it's just gonna make my life easier, like, the less I have. Like, it's less burdensome. And it seems like that's easy, but as most people know, it's actually hard to just, like, give things away or sell things for cheap.
I mean, I have a hard time, like, throwing away, like, trash that I've collected. Basically, not trash, but, like, something, like, sentimental, like, post-it note or, like, something. Like that, like, for some reason I attached to. Because it's, like, from some person. Like, I have a whole drawer in, like, my nightstand. It's, like, all basically, like, letters between, like, lovers and like photos of them that like I'll probably die with.
I still have like a shoebox of like more personal stuff that I may not get rid of. We'll see. I may get to a point where I just put everything in some sort of like storage space or like give it to a friend to hold on to. Because I would like to get to a point where I'm paying extremely cheap rent for like barely a room. And so the main point is to work less. And I've already knocked a lot of hours off of my week.
That's good.
By just having less and having a cheaper rent. So it's not just this philosophical thing to like have little. It's really just so I could like work less. Because I've decided that I value time more than money.
I think I've come to a similar conclusion. I was talking with like my friend who has like a real, makes like 80K, but he's like taxed already to like 50-ish, and then he can't get insurance because he makes over 40,000. He can't get like whatever Medicaid. He makes over 40,000. He's like, oh, I should just like quit my job because like this is like.
Because at least he'll get Medicaid.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like work a cheaper job.
Yeah, work a cheaper job, or like do something like, I don't know, another way of making money, because it's just like the middle class is like not, you don't really get rewarded anymore.
No. The middle class, especially in New York, you kind of just live like a normal poorish person.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't afford a lot for your rent. And a lot of it goes to taxes. You know, you're gonna get it. You know, even I get a decent wage, but from debt from school loans, insurance, all that, and tax, you're like almost out like $1,000 a paycheck.
Right, yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah,
it's almost like nobody feels that it's worth working that much anymore, unless you're like making over 100K. It almost feels like you're just fucking wasting away and you're giving all your time to somebody. It's a difficult situation. I mean, some people would argue with me and saying like working a lot is really important, but I'm almost 40, and at certain points I was happy to have more money. Right now, I think having time is more interesting to me, and I don't need a lot of space. I don't need to impress anybody. I don't need to buy girls a lot of things. Like, I just don't care anymore, except relaxation and like leisure and reading.
And that's what you do with your free time?
Yeah, a lot of relaxation, a lot of like information, a lot of like books, a lot of TV, media, just studying. I'd rather study and kind of just live frugally. And I think that's what this show is really about for me. It was called Stuff I Want to Get Rid of. And you could look at that in a more like symbolic, kind of like deeper way, and it looks sort of like contemporary art because like everything's on the ground and there's like interesting objects, but like I said, at the same time it's literally just a flea market, and I thought it was beautiful, and that had been my first show in like my first solo show in 5 years, and it was cool that it was at my friend's apartment, and I was very happy with the results.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Wait, I'm gonna close.
I think that could be enough.
Yeah.
No?
No, yeah, that's probably enough.